Welcome back, you guys. In today's video I will be building a small steel stud wall in an office space to enclose this garbage area. One of the things I love about steel stud is that you can carry up a whole bundle of studs, enough to build this wall in one small package. These steel studs, however, were nasty. They didn't have the proper knurling to help the screws grab, and they were also a very slightly heavier gauge steel than they should have been. Not enough to need self-tapping screws, but just enough to make the work harder. So there wasn't really anything to go off, so I just measured a 1/2 inch back from the corner beads to allow for the drywall. And before I drew my lines, I just stood from both sides of it and stared at the level to see if it looked like it was square from the walls. And here's a quick little trick to find the center of the backside of your wall on an angled wall. Not sure why I used the old piece of baseboard instead of the steel stud though. The baseboard didn't put the line in the right spot. And here I'm centering the door from the outside corner to outside corner because that's where you'll see it. And it looks like it's a 30-inch door, so add 1 inch on each side. 32-inch rough opening for a 30-inch door. Technically, you are not really supposed to pin anything down or screw anything into a floating floor system because there is the risk that the joints can separate over time. But actually cutting out the flooring and pinning the steel to the concrete would have been totally overkill on this job. So this is just a drywall spacer to account for the drywall that's sandwiched between the studs below. So I was working with a helper on this day, but he didn't really want to be on camera. Can't blame the guy. Honestly, most days I don't want to be either. And this is just to add a little friction to make it not move around as much when I'm fastening it. The best way to fasten the top track is to the T-bar ceiling. It's pretty standard. In any old office you can see tons of holes in all the existing T-bar ceiling where people have done renovations. And don't forget to add some 1x4s into the back of the steel studs on either side of the door. If you don't do that, you don't really have any substance to hang your door jamb from. For the top of the opening, you're going to take your rough opening plus 8 inches, 4 inches on each side. Cut it, fold it over, and you've just created your door header. And screwing these together can be really tricky. If you're not careful, you'll throw them way out of whack. Every once in a while I decide to give my auto feed drill another chance. I will admit it's very fast when it works, but you have to push way too hard. I've torn my shoulder using this tool before, and it just doesn't work well in awkward positions, so I find you have to have a regular screw gun anyways. Scared to use that there. Nah. Yeah. That's it. Didn't have time to film the taping and coating process, or even the door install and the baseboard, but here's what it looked like. So that is tearaway bead, and we use that to finish up to a finished surface, and then you tear it away after to make it look like just a clean edge of drywall meeting up with the ceiling.
Oh, why do they keep breaking?
And I wouldn't normally hang a door and trim out on top of fresh drywall mud, but in this case we had to get the job done and we weren't the ones doing the painting. Trying to film yourself working there? What have you done?
It went like that, and then I didn't notice, and then I poked it, and I was like, why isn't it?
And that's all I've got filmed. I just want to say a big thank you to anyone who's made it this far, and until the next one. Oh, and by the way, if you've made it this far and you've been watching for a while and you haven't subscribed, why not? It's not gonna hurt.